Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. Millennialian to power millennialian. Good morning to you all and to this world. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, March 12, Saturday, 3:43 a.m. मैं सूरज सिंह सिविल इंजीनियर भारत इंडिया से बोल रहा हूँ। आज दिनांक मार्च 12 2022 शनिवार 3:43 सुबह के। Talk is same as usual in continuation. I don't know how many talks would come. It depends what mind says. Mind is always fertile if you have. So quality coordination, engineering, project works, reliable engineering, communication, concrete, civil engineering works, contracts, safety, health and environment, designs, construction methods, claims, organizations for quality. And just for your information, I'm sorry. Just for your information, I post many items, many articles which I use on Facebook every day. Same articles I link to many sites like LinkedIn, like SAFI, SAFI India, yes, SAFI Structural Forum of India, you can say, and also somewhere else. These are for those who are interested in learning something regarding safety, regarding management, organization, regarding engineering. It's for all. And I spend most of my time in this age 68 to help people to know more so that they can be better in profession. And you can see this my email ID suraj_engineer@yahoo.co.uk. Every day I try to tell any person from world who can raise question, who if interested intends to know more about what I want to say. And what I want to say is not final, it's just a cooperation, it's just a contribution in life, in engineering and in general life. Therefore, if you are interested to write to me, you are most welcome. And that again I say, email ID is suraj_engineer @yahoo.co.uk. No problem, UK or which country. In beginning I took this, so I have been using this for many years. I have another email also, I am not using that commonly, and that's for Gmail, pesurajsingh@gmail.com. That is not very often, but I just kept for some purpose. And again I say that is C Suraj Singh PE or Suraj Singh PE @gmail.com. And of course, as you know, I am currently fellow of Institution of Engineers India. I was elected MIE in 1981 and MIE in 1986 and FIE in 2016, and that's why I use this title Chartered Engineer India. This title comes from Royal Charter of Institution of Engineers, which is an act of engineers. In fact, that is, charter is always higher than act, but people are confused that charter is lower than act. This is a royal charter, that is charter granted by constitution, that is equivalent to Constitution of India, and it is a part of Constitution of India. And per my interpretation, I'm not saying this parliament interpretation or honorable court's interpretation, this is my interpretation, because Constitution of India is also a charter. If you are not clear, again I am telling you, Constitution of India is Charter of India, and that's why I am saying chartered engineer means constituted engineer. Constitute is per law. And International Professional Engineer India is another title which is specific one, and that comes from International Professional Engineers Agreement, which is valid all over world because it is world title. Like many other titles are there, it is one of them. And professional engineer, international professional engineer, there's no major difference except that international professional engineer has exposure, must have exposure to international practices and international codes. Otherwise you cannot apply for this. You must have that level of knowledge which can be worked out Means if I suppose somebody goes after getting this certificate to other country, which has got relations with our country, there can be consideration for this certificate to certain extent, and after clearing interview, one can be allowed to practice in that country. For example, USA, it may be other country like Japan, or South Korea, like England. It depends, but I'm not saying that we are so wide people, but this title tells that somebody has done something to help society, and titles are supposed to be given to those who help society without any interest. If you help society just to make money, that is not called help, that is your profession. If you help society without any interest, that is called help. And in our world also we call it without any interest. If you serve people, that is called real service. Well, I come from civil engineering branch because I qualified civil engineering diploma and civil engineering degree. After that, I did not qualify in academic qualification, to be very frank. I am a very small person, just normal level person, but I have good experience in field, and that's what I think that helps me. It is much more than any university degree, highest degree, and it is more than highest degree, you can say. That experience is always, because it counts, it depends on responsibility and liability, and we must be clear about that. If you own some responsibility, some liability, some accountability in life, and you go through this successfully, and then you can say it's like more than degree that you have done it. So don't worry about degrees, titles. Degrees, titles help only in beginning of something, but after that your working degree is more important, your performance degree is more important. Don't always confine, I don't confine to myself this, only for reference it is. I never say I am what. I have to do my job, I have to do my duty, wherever I work, I do accordingly. And that is my religion, that is my profession, you can say. And then it is also certificate, just for reference it is, international professional certificate, and that is in field of civil engineering, and its validity is always 5 years. And then C, that is chartered is a certificate. This is linked to membership, corporate membership, and this is valid till you have corporate membership of institution of engineers. This is per statute of charter. So I close this certificate, and this fellow certificate that is linked to fellow certificate linked to charter, and charter comes when you are fellow or you are member or you are associate. I close this also. Now this is quality file, this is coordination file, and this is specifically again I want to involve deliberation on concrete, and this specification of concrete, this refers to Qatar. Actually Qatar is a standard country, I can say. I worked there for many years, I know what standard they have. Like Abu Dhabi has got certain standards. So I just want to involve that also in somewhere today's talk, because concrete is very important item, and without concrete work cannot be done, development cannot be achieved. We cannot develop anything if we don't understand what is concrete. And concrete is a very, very specific item, and it helps everywhere. It means something you have to a kind of a complete item it is. It's not steel that you got done in factory and there's control situation, but on site you have to do concrete, and that's very important. Site or from batching plant, and you lay it, and something very, very great it is. We should understand what's concrete. It's a very important factor of life. And also we can see if something else applies. I'll open that file also, which I tried to show you before about some house, no problem, but I can't open alphas at this moment because of crowding of these files on project now. Now I was saying that let's go to quality file, and quality file is an interesting file actually. Every day I talk, and maybe people think I'm quality sick. People may say that. Yes, you can say that. That's no problem. I am quality sick. I have phobia of quality, because quality is my life. Quality means quantity. Quality comes first and quantity comes next. If people say that quantity comes first and quality comes next, those are not developed mind people, I can say. I will not abuse that, but because they don't value quality, in that case they cannot value quantity also. There can be no quantity without quality, and if it is there, it exists there without quality. This means you abuse yourself, you abuse your knowledge, and you deceive others, and you should not deceive others. It is engineering, it's a kind of religion. I consider engineering as a religion for engineers. You consider it that way. Engineering is not a profession, in fact, it's above profession. Engineering is above profession because you represent someone whom you don't know, and that is nature. You, we use every item of nature, every support of nature, every agency of nature, and then we can do some work. And that is true. We cannot do anything without that support. First of all, we have to realize this fact. So I always consider that in this title, reliable engineers. What do you mean by reliable engineers? It's a point. I have not included somewhere else, but title says engineers should be reliable. Means engineers should be reliable in a mean that we should be trustworthy. We should trust them. They should be trustworthy. They should be trustworthy. Trust they have to create themselves. Just writing that I am engineer or just claiming that I am engineer or doctor, it doesn't mean anything if you don't prove it. Those who work for people, who work for world, they never think of money in isolation. Money is a part of life. But if you think money is my criteria, money is one point only, then I think you are in a foolish world. That I can say. You have no contribution on development except that you use materials from nature. Use technology that is generated due to materials. Technology is also not independent. No scientist can claim, no engineer can claim that technical work or technology is independent. It depends on material, it depends on nature. Only then technical work comes. If you say concrete technology, there is nothing we have given to concrete. Concrete is natural. Of course, there are so many ingredients in concrete. That's all natural production. We are just using, we understand them what they are. We understand these properties. We understand everything. That's the difference between science and engineering. Scientist observes nature. Scientist observes nature because nature exists. Scientist does not create nature. Same way engineer does not create material. Engineer uses material. And also when these engineers and scientists do that, automatically everybody uses that. So no one is about that. No one, everybody has a relation to nature indirectly. Otherwise we have direct relation. We use support of sun, we use support of air, we use support of water, we use support of soil. We use every support, and even then we don't understand that point. We always claim, I am intelligent, you listen to me. Okay, listening to you is not a problem, but you are intelligent. Relatively, you are not originally intelligent. This body in which you are living is also not yours construction. This is natural construction. Soul which you are talking about and you are using, that is also not your creation. That is natural creation. There is nothing in us, not even a single point you can say, not even a molecule you can say, not even an atom you can say. That is yours. So when nothing is yours, what for boasting? What you have done? If God has given you a chance and opportunity, you work for it. That you are a lucky person. God trusted you. And if you don't come onto that line, you miss something. So first of all, you should keep in mind that we are all relative to God, to nature. We have nothing in isolation. Today, no one can claim in the world that it's mine, I have done it. Yes, there can be copyright, that is all relative. Just for protection. Protection for what? I don't know. I don't know for what protection. You want to claim for what? Okay, you may get royalty, that is different. Other than that, what you get? Nothing. That is very important point. That's why I just try to disseminate my mind. It is my thinking. Maybe you're thinking different. I can't encounter that. You can think anything. It's up to you. No one can stop you. That's why I say quality is first concern, then coordination, because quality and coordination are combined together. And engineering projects works have no limits, and where quality works and coordination works and communication works and technical works and science works and engineering works, and then reliable engineers control everything. If engineers are not reliable, then you can say what to do, because it is development, it is manufacturing, it is processing, it is design, it is construction. Abundance use of materials, exploration, oil engineering, you can say offshore engineering. Otherwise, how can this world move? Mining engineering, agriculture engineering, all these are part of life. Or if agriculture engineering doesn't exist, how shall you survive? And agriculture engineering exists only because of sun engineering, because of air engineering, You can say like that because of lithosphere and aerospace engineering. What's not there? Every engineering is there. And universe engineering, solar engineering, you can create many engineerings like that because you cannot control them. That's why you cannot call air engineering. You have no command on that. You have no right to call air engineering. You are doing nothing in air. You are just spoiling that engineering. Try to understand. Where is quality then? Is look, we call, there are so many 5 elements minimum, we call that air, water, soil, fire, and I think that is what's that called, ether, yes, which called sky. So these 5 elements are out of control of humanity, yet human has failed to control all these because human is very small entity, only 8 or 9 billion human on earth only. And the universe is vast. So where is the relation? You think so? We are not anything. We are nothing compared to that nature. Nature is not only earth. Sun is also nature. Planets nature. Sky nature. Everything is nature. Or you can replace nature by term God. It's up to you. That's also terminology, nothing else. Or you can replace, say, power. You can say that. Just think one point. Only one power station, sun, can change entire world, entire solar system. Is it not miraculous? It's miraculous. And we are living on a very small earth, and we jump a lot. We exploit it. You can only exploit. You cannot use it. There's a difference in exploitation and use. Human has exploited. We have exploited earth. We have not used it. Had we been successfully using it, we would have been different nature. Air should be clean, it should be clear, it should be pollution free. Sea should be pollution free. There should have been no plastics anywhere. But it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because we are indirectly unknown criminals all. We committed crimes by spoiling, by polluting, by putrefying air, not purifying. We have done crimes by exploiting natural resources, natural sources like oil, like gold, like mine, like diamond. We have done everything to kill these people by using bombing, by using atoms, by using electronic system. You see, we are doing everything that leads to destruction. This is what science gives us. I don't think so. Science doesn't say that, but it is happening. That's why I'm very much concerned with quality. If you cannot keep intact natural work, how you believe in quality then? I don't know why sometimes I jump from this mind to that mind. When I'm talking quality, you think I'm talking quality in engineering. No, I'm talking quality of life. Quality in engineering is one part of that. Quality in social life is another part of that. Quality overall is that. If I cannot keep as a unit person, I cannot keep as a national person or nation, I cannot put as a global person, I cannot keep all these agencies intact, then where is my duty I have to do? You think I have to do duty only for this India or for American has to do only for USA? No, everybody is bound to help Earth, everyone. Because everyone belongs to Earth until we stay on Earth. Everyone belongs to Earth. Everyone is citizen of Earth. No one can, okay, you don't have passport of Earth, doesn't matter. But nobody can push you out of Earth. That's also true. This means visa is not applicable. It's my Earth, it's your Earth. Okay, I'm sitting in this land, this is called India, you're sitting in that land, that's called US. Doesn't matter. But I am affected by gravity, you too. I am affected by same natural agencies, you too. So where's difference? Difference is imaginary, it is created. Earth belongs to me until I stay here. No one can challenge it. Yes, you can kill me or I can kill you, that is different. And that's happening. Wars between various countries, that is one example. I don't know what's the interest in killing others. I don't understand this reason. Might is right and work is not right. Duty is not right, might is right. I say this, you accept this. This foolishness exists, madness exists. Listen to me, what I am saying, you do it, or I kill you. And it happens in every war, every war. You take history, full of that, and currently also full of that. Somebody thinks I am super, and something you have to listen to me because I am super. And super doesn't know what for it is super. That super doesn't know also. But because a little is just like in competition, two persons run. There's little difference between winner and loser. Both are equivalent, but some difference is only minute difference. And that's why I am winner. Yes, you are winner for minute difference, not for whole. Because who lost, he also reached up to that point. So only difference is there, little difference, maybe 0.01%. For that you are claiming a winner. No, you are not winner, you are a participant. And that person is also a participant. Yes, you participate strongly, and that person participant little different. That's it. Quality is different. First quality is quality of individual, which you don't care about. These days, and not only these days, for decades, honesty has been lost. That's my worry. People just say I'm honest, and what level honest one is, only that person knows. What level of sincere one is, that person knows. But what is the meaning of honesty is also a point. What is honesty? What is quality of honesty? That is also to be decided. Let me switch off my battery, it's 100% charged. We have to be very serious about this. If somebody says you should be honest, you are honest, you are not honest, who shall decide this? And what is honesty? That is also a point of view, just like I say what is quality. We have to define quality, we have to define coordination, and we have to define everything. We have to define everything. So what is honesty, what is sincerity, what is regularity, what is punctuality, what is character, what is quality? All points we have to understand, and it is depend on individual. And that's why individual character, individual quality, every individual potential, these can be considered. So when we say reliable engineers, what does it mean? Reliable engineers means reliability of engineer. And what is reliability? That also I explained many times. Just like in material or the products, we say this should be reliable, and we refer to safety, we refer to service of product by product, and we refer to durability. So if you say a material can be considered in such a way that first of all it should be safe in both ways. Safe, it should keep others safe, and it should be safe itself. And also service means it should give service for which it is done, it is valid, or it can. And durability means it should give service for long period, or what we define for what life we fix for this. And many more points are there, but these three are major. It should work for long, it should work safely, and it should give service that we expect from this product. That's very important. Now, if material can be defined reliable in this way, why not human being? Human being should think of safety, human being should be safe, human should serve also according to requirement in what profession one is or occupation one is, or what one does. And durability means long life. Your work should be continuous. It's not just you work today and tomorrow you don't work, or you leave it behind, not even completing that. So that is also a point, that durability, you should have long distance travel. Even though you change your jobs, doesn't matter, but you should have long distance travels. So these 3 points apply to individual also, and then ambition also applies. You can say what you want to do is also apply, and I don't say it's greed of money alone that thing, to cover something else also to help this world. You help this world, and world helps you. That's why I think If you avoid, if you respect world, you honor world, you think of world, then you should not think of destruction, because destruction is very easy and construction is very difficult. Destruction or dismantling is very easy. This is very well known. Construction is many more times, hundreds times stronger and difficult, and that we understand very well. When we talk of this quality and coordination, this is a wide word, I can say. Quality has limits. No, it has no limits. Question is that we have no limits. We don't have potential to grow quality. We just want to defeat it, in fact, because we claim I have done it and that doesn't perform. It's not fault of article or material or goods, fault of our contribution to do that, our policy to that, and we sleep always. Actually, I am saying sleep. We sleep, and that sleeping is not good for us. So that's what I say. Just the title that I'm showing you this. I'm not going to discuss at length because I have many points to talk. And I respect engineers because they develop, they produce, and respect doctors because, but doctors is also changing now. They are also changing. At least not all those who are in business of medical science. I should say now business of medical science clearly. Previously we used to avoid this phrase in business of medical science, but now 80% of medical services are in business. Only maybe 10 to 20% those who can serve people through government hospitals or through some good people who feel. Otherwise, medical service is also a trade now. It's nothing else. To be very frank, it's a trade, and doctors can be blamed for this. Those who think that money is everything for them, but there are doctors also who don't think of money, who still have their practices in a very professional way and also in service of people. So there is no field left at this stage. We can say that it's for people, it's for world. Everybody is interested to make money, more money, more money, and why they are interested to make money, they also do not know. Unfortunately, everyone wants to get more and more and more, and nobody says that it's enough. That we used to consider in the past satisfaction, contention, and that doesn't apply now. No one is satisfied and no one can be satisfied. No one is contented, no one can be contented. That's true. Means there is no limit of satisfaction, is unlimited, and there is no limit of contentment, because even your stomach is full, you want to eat more, and that's what it says. And of course, we have to be very serious about this, because there is a limit on earth. Earth cannot give you everything you want. It cannot happen. Earth cannot give you dreams, and you always dream, and I should get more and more, and that is trouble in life. And so, if you think that way, if you consider that way, I get more and more and more, and there's no limit, then quality can't help you. You cannot define quality. Individual quality, if you just think in terms of money and nothing else, then you are not an individual. You have only one aim, to be storekeeper of money, nothing else. Well, it's my thinking. Maybe you're thinking you don't agree with me. You have every absolute right not to agree with me, because I'm speaking my mind. I'm not speaking something from somewhere else, and that's I can say. So it's up to engineers how to take care of country and world, and because they are involved in construction, they are involved in industrialization, they are involved in changing society. If you change society like that, as society become degraded, it's up to you. Whole world is getting degradation. Whole world is thinking of economy. Economy thinking is not bad, but economic exploitation is bad, and that's my viewpoint. You have no right to exploit economy, because nature has its own equilibrium. It cannot go according to your wishes or my wishes, and that's what I say now. I'm not just interested in quality engineering and coordination engineering, which is currently my focus, and this focus is so strong that there is no limit. Because quality engineering, when you say quality engineering, it's not means subject of quality or you can say quality system. This means a complete engineering I'm talking. If you talk engineering, this means it is quality engineering. Otherwise, we should not talk engineering. And of course, when you refer to engineering, you have to refer to coordination, and that coordination is also not engineering coordination, but it is coordination engineering. or engineering as coordination. Though that doesn't look nice, so I use coordination engineering and engineering coordination both, which can be, this can apply on all sections, all subdisciplines of engineering. And in engineering, concept, then designs, then manufacturing, and then construction come in sequence depending on which sector you are in. And therefore, it's very important to realize this point. I'm not going to raise this point full, but only saying that we have to think first of our country and then whole world. And there is no way that one should seek for excuse or concessions. There can be no concession. It should be included. Of course, it depends to what level we want to achieve it. And question is work quality, that cannot be compromised, and therefore we do not intend to compromise just in name of quality system. Okay, that's enough I think for quality. Now we go back to coordination issue. I have spent a lot of time in quality and I am still not sure I have completed. Same way coordination, which has no limit. You can say coordination can never stop. That's one point. Sometimes we feel we have no work to do, but there is no dearth of work. Works are there. We do something. So coordination is many definitions. We cannot singly define it. We cannot say, no, what I am saying, that is their definition, because ordinates, there can be many number of ordinates for something that we have to understand. When we talk of engineering or we talk of some other sciences, some other professions, some other subjects that is public related, it is better to involve everything. Of course, in academics we don't involve everything because at that time everybody is very young and student or adolescent. They are, and there is no major responsibility in life. So you cannot even understand fully what is required. But otherwise, everything is perfect. We expect that. But really, it is not perfect. And we have to think of that coordination. I am really regretful that about coordination, I could not get that feedback as I expected. I could not get that much information even from use of computers, use of network. I could not get any populous volume of information. And this indicates that coordination is missing from everywhere. It's not I'm talking about this country, it's about all countries, our whole world. When I'm talking about coordination engineering, I'm talking about whole world. But when I say quality in engineering, then particularly I talk about my country first and then the other countries, because it's a fact. And that's I say Bharat India speaks about quality construction, or when I say no, I speak for all, then it's about quality construction for quality for everyone. And that's what I say coordination. In coordination, I say it's for all. And coordination is very weak, that I have practically experienced. I try to get more and more information from people, but there is no specific information except something which is not clear and which people also don't know what to do, what not to do. But technically we have to understand it, or you can say we have to understand it in reality, in physical world. But physically coordination cannot be created, cannot be done, cannot be manufactured. Coordination is some process of documentation, some process of information, some process of, or you can say something that whatever is missing, work knows it very well. And it knows what it requires and it demands at the right time, and at the right time if you are not ready with that information, your work cannot be over. That is very important point. So coordination engineering I consider, because I have been coordinator, I have been doing coordination for many years, because it's very difficult to find real coordinators in field. People don't have coordination knowledge, and they just call themselves everything. I know this and I know that. Okay, you know this and that, but what I'm saying professionally, where is coordination? I don't think any book is available to explain that also. The coordination is a very important part. We have to be very, very serious about that. And we cannot say what I'm saying, what I'm not saying. It's very important, coordination in life. Very few people realize this fact. And they cannot move without that. They like, oh, I wanted to do that, I could not do this, I stopped there at that point. People generally can call it, or I could not successfully complete it. Or one has to raise question to yourself, raise question to your why you did not do it, because you did not know it. You did not try to get information in time. You just started something without any backup, without any plan. You started something. And the only starting is not enough. It has to move, it has to accelerate, and then it has to travel a long journey. Only then you can say, I reach my destination. At that point we have to really understand well. In engineering, it's not engineering alone. It is world itself. Its supports are not engineering, our engineering, God's engineering. You may say that, I can say resource. Engineered resources we have. Engineered resources, not our engineering, God's engineering. Those resources we have, sources we have. And God did not say you exploit it, and we say we exploit it. Okay? You exploit everything. You exploit yourself, you exploit your world, you will suffer, nobody will else. So what I say, we have to understand coordination, which applies in every part of life. I'm talking of professional life in engineering. Professional life is not easy also. Some consider it easy, and I don't know reason for that. If you just consider, okay, I just want to get job, and after job I got to get a good salary and that's my destiny, then you are very small mind thinker. You are very small mind thinker. You cannot know what you expect. And that's very important point here. I say it's very important point because we don't know what to expect, what not to expect. And that is really very, very wonderful. We have to think of and we consider. We can't do that without that. And that's very useful, meaningful. And coordination, when we talk of, we have to understand quality requirement. For reliable quality engineering works, deliveries, coordination engineering is a must. A professional engineering note, it is only a note, it's not a book, it's not very powerful, but we have to see how can we coordinate. Coordination means you have to depend on quality, only then we can coordinate, otherwise we cannot coordinate. And there are many few questions. Is coordination engineering necessary? Is it a must on every project? We have to answer this question. And these questions are many, and these are required to be answered by community in relation to quality and coordination. What do we engineers think our issue as mentioned of, that is quality and coordination? How many of us to conduct works for quality and coordination requirement, coordination engineering? Is it not right time to contemplate and deliberate on this subject? Can good industrial practice be achieved without moving through quality and coordination? Can engineering design be reliably carried out without involving quality and coordination? And ultimately, can we teach coordination engineering? Can we teach quality to people? And that's the major point. That is our last point, you can say, our milestone. Can we make people understand what is quality? Maybe they understand in their own phrasing, but they do not understand in professional phrasing. Everybody wants good thing. They say, I want good. Maybe they don't use quality term there, but everyone wants something durable, something useful, something using less material, less cost. And this, I want more benefit on this. That is a difference, remember. So if we have to teach ourselves what quality and coordination are, we have to teach public also what quality and public, as far as concerned, all publics are same. We have to teach everybody. How do we teach? That's the point here. If I teach through this network, it's not also final answer. But whatever we can do, we have to do. And we have to teach those people, those workers who are involved in such quality work. And we have to teach everyone. But it's not easy. I speak very easily, you have to teach. But how to do that? That's the point. Communication is a word of support. Without communication, these days nothing is going to work. So we should think in that direction also. I don't want to show these photos, and before going all of this, I would like to say, last time, before many days, I don't know exact time when it was, I always talk of concrete, and this title also I use this term concrete, because the works contracts, and then before that is engineering, and before that is concrete. Concrete is such important material that people do not know what it is. Even you can say many engineers are not clear about concrete. Many engineers forget common people, because concrete is very fastly, very rapidly evolving technology, and has many changes, and we cannot stick on what 10 years before it was, or 15 years before it was. We have to think of its development, because it's ultimately our support. It tells everybody, it's not just that use this footwear, but you have to understand footwear also. After using them, you feel some pains from footwear or some other system because of change of weather, change of environment of that. Now say what we say, I want to achieve this. How can I achieve this? How can I understand concrete? It's only way that you have to refer to certain literature of concrete in terms of specifications, because specification decides what you have to do. And I am taking only this specification now for time being. I have complete set of other specifications as well. I will take up for certain concrete. And this file is from specifications of Qatar, Qatar specification. Because it's easy to get that, and I know how they work. And before it was Iraq specifications, but that time has gone. So only first consideration is given to Qatar, because in Gulf states, Qatar can be considered better than others in controls, in quality controls, every controls. Nowadays everybody wants to be control of this and control of that. Practically control is not done. It's not. You can see certificates of people. I attended this course, I attended this course. But when you talk to them, you find difference. Maybe they forget everything once they go back. And it's therefore a very important part. Just every time, every morning you get up and you're not happy. What does it mean? Fresh. What does it mean? It means there's something wrong with you, or with one. They don't understand what word is. How does it work? My dear friends, this is a concrete page, specifications from, and it has so many chapters in this, or pages in this, about 200. Though these 200 may have references or something, I don't know what. But the question is not number of pages, question is contents. And as says concrete general, it is now section 5. It is, this. It is section 5 of Qatar specifications, Qatar civil specifications, you can say. And it has a long page, you can say. It says 200 something. Of course, it cannot be done in one day. It is technical material. We have to think of concrete as not just a mix of certain ingredients. It's a performing material. It's a performing material, and it's a material that's more protected than other materials because of, until we allow its enemy for its degradation. So in this general, that is general 1, there are so many parts in this. For example, 1 is general, then there may be other one. Let us say what's that. That is hold on. Part, yes. In this there are so many sections. In this, and this relation says 18, 19 sections here, and the sections are total 9. Parts are 19, and there are so many references which I'm not going to talk of in this case, because you can yourself refer to it. So here is not what I'm saying. So I'm not going to talk of this. Already we have talked many times. Now it is first one, section 5, and where's that? Yes. Now what it says, say, what's approved. In one it says approved products. What does it mean? What are approvals and what are product? We have to understand this point, because we cannot simply write and say you have to do it. We should have a basis of that, logics behind that, why we reach that point. That's very important one. Why I say that approved product? It says the contract specific documentation may identify approved products and approved or pre-qualified manufacturers and suppliers of products used in concrete work. So this is specific document. A specific document you can say that identifies approved products and approved vendors, and who will supply products or materials which are used in concrete. So there's clarity in this. It's clear. You have to know this fact. So it's one sentence, but it's clear. It should be clear, and it is clear, and that is good fact. That is good fact. Now it says next one, implementation. Implementation, what's that? Implementation of concrete it is. And concrete, has many properties, many attributes. It's only concrete that has no limits in its technology, and it can be worked upon it easily. There's no problem as far as normalcy of weather is concerned. Otherwise, you may say there can be issues. Implementation says approved installers. Of course, they should have approved installers. Contract specific documents. Contract specific documentation may identify approved or pre-qualified providers of concrete construction services. That is one point. Again, I say approved installation, just like say approved material. Approved installers means subcontractors or special subcontractors. You have to think for both. You have to decide for both. And if you have good material and good workers to work on something, we can start. We can do something. And all those specifications, all those drawings, inclusions for permanent material are required to be studied. Without study, we cannot do anything. Because we study them, we write specifications also. When we design something, we understand what specifications are, whether or not included specifications are related to it or just superfluous, that we can understand very well. It's not very difficult for those who are practitioners and for those who work in field. It's very important point for everybody, because quality of concrete is very important. Since concrete is important, if concrete is important, we have to respect that. We have to respect that, because concrete is also money. In a way, we have to spend, but happiness exists because this money shall give you returns for decades to come. Everybody intends to have a house, and that's a good idea. If you are intended to have a house, you must also have intention how to use your product. Now, our point is after installation, what we have to do. I mean, I have not installed, but after installation, what we have to do, and before installation, what we have to do. Those points are very important. We have to understand that we blow it further because that will be helpful for this. Let us say 175, 170 should be. So I can directly read on my control page. I can say. So it's what I say. It's now better. Field control, quality control, that is during concrete and after concrete, post concrete. Specifically, I am talking concrete because it is a long difference when I was talking on this and I talk on this is now. When we say approved installers, you have to understand that point. And we say field quality control, we have also to approve this point. As far as quality control is concerned, we have to accept document and we have to cook our requirements. That's very important. Field quality control. I'm sure very few people know about this. No. So we have to go back to quality control and system first. In this specification, no system is given because this is engineering specification of concrete, but we have documents pertaining management and organization documents we have just now created about what we have. Field quality control, it says, how does it say? Let's say contractors shall carry out. We assume contractors is there. That's why this specific talking as a contract document. So it's also a contract document. You should not forget that. And this contract shall carry out. Contractors shall carry out test procedures required by this section, and any other or whatever else test required. Procedures are directed by engineer. From time to time, test procedures shall be carried out. In this particular house where I was living, it's very old, and we were received, of course, but many were not given that level later on. Okay, I don't mix up. Contract shall carry out test procedures required by 6th section and whatever else test. And test procedures as directed by engineer of this project, as framed by product. Yes. So what we say, contractor shall carry out test procedures required by this section and others tests, and procedures as directed by engineer from time to time. Test procedures shall be carried out using facilities of an approved independent testing laboratory. Supply, storage, sampling, and testing of all materials shall be responsibility of engineer. We can say, then we can go further on this, and that is Janlu starts engineer may also. Now first let me, you know what is engineer here. What is engineer, what is contractor? You know all that. Engineer may also require contractor to take samples of materials and deliver them to central material laboratory, whatever it is. We are talking in Qatar, so whatever was there at that time, you can accept that. We cannot vote, but we know how it is done. Two, now we can say engineer may also require contractor to take samples of materials and deliver them to central laboratory, central material laboratory, for additional tests to be carried out by emperor or by employer. I'm sorry, employer, not emperor. Employer, because emperor is also employer in some cases, so it's not invalid completely. By employer sampling procedures, and as said, contacted undertakes job and fights with circumstances. Okay, so then we also say this minimum, you can say engineer may also require contractor to take samples of materials to third party laboratory for additional tests to be carried out by employer. Sampling procedure shall also be in accordance with BSEN 930 or relevant ASTM standards. American Society of Testing Materials, that's called ASTM standards, and sample sizes conform to requirements given in table. In this case, what we are talking is very relative, very important for engineers particularly and for public also. Minimum equipment required for testing of site is given in table 1-2. We'll see what is that. Minimum equipment required for testing of concrete. It's not for all, only for concrete. This equipment shall be maintained on site. That's what we have to see. This equipment shall be maintained on site at all times. At all times during concreting operations. Today, together with necessary scopes, buckets, sample, containers, and other items required for sampling Cube curing tank shall be located in air conditioned area as stated in part 6. So we can say rejected materials. When we test means they are also rejected. Right? Whatever material rejected by engineer it is rejected. In particular, cement, which has deteriorated, or aggregates which have such as segregated or become contaminated shall be immediately removed from site. This is important part of the remember it. Whatever rejected material we find, whatever, particularly cement, that shall be removed from site. Do you have to remove it? There is no other way out. Now we have to talk of records. Contractor shall maintain on site full records of all works carried out accurately related to location of work and site, which include what these include records. It says issue of time and date, and this energy. Now we come on to the next point, and that is time and date when concrete was poured, formwork removed, and when formwork props were fully removed. All cubes and other tests, daily maximum and minimum temperatures. One copy of all test results shall be subject to we say we have to maintain these records. But do we? Now, what are these sampling procedures are given here? We say in cement, it is full range test that is conducted, and sample is 7 kg from at least 12 bags. Get it? And then comes to aggregate, most important ingredient in concrete. We can say in aggregate there is full range test which starts from sieve analysis and goes to Los Angeles aberration value. And this sieve analysis, chemical analysis, soundness analysis and West words analysis. So we go further on this, let us say, very important properties. Everyone knows in engineering, if you don't know, somebody else knows what about this is, and we have to consider it very well. So I say sieve analysis, chemical analysis, soundness test, water absorption, particle density, and flakiness index, fines content, and Los Angeles aberration test. 50 kg is required for these tests. So we have to see the analysis, we have to see chemical soundness, water absorption, particle density, flakiness index, fines. Earlier present testing out of 50 kilogram samples, and then the reinforcement will do testing, and that is tensile test, 500 mm length we need, and for bend we need 300 mm. Water is rate, that is full range of test 5 liters, and then we have equipment to be provided for that. Now we have to think of slump test, that is site test. Slump test according to BSEN 123502 is a standard. This is very secret matter, Slump cone with base plate, and we decide that okay, mix is fine. It's very known to everyone. It's true. People know, engineering personnel know, but all others do not understand this. We have to conduct slump test. We have to slump cone with base plate. We have that should be at least one. Compacting rod, circular cross section, and round irons, that also should be one. Then we have remixing container as 300 mm ruler, most cloth, and we have scoop and shovel, timer, etc. We have all this, let's see. Then we have to make cubes if we successfully conduct cube test. The cube is successful in that case. We have to think of cube making. Cube is made for testing, and that is compression test. Compression test in 100 or 150 mm cubical or cylindrical molds we have. Then compacting rod and or bars. We should have compacting rod or bar set of tools for assembling and stepping molds. Compacting rod and bar set. We have trowel, scoop, shovel, hand shovel of course, and mallet mold release agent in closed container with bush. We have cube curing. What to think of that? Cube curing is Haitian cloth, Haitian or sacking, impervious, and maximum layer. Now we have to, you say curing. Curing cube, how to do that? Hessian or sacking impervious sheet, Hessian or sacking impervious sheet, maximum minimum thermometer, waterproof making oriental in structures. Hessian or sacking impervious sheet, maximum minimum thermometer, that's also waterproof marking, crayon paint or equivalent. Curing tank in air conditioned room purpose is not essential at all. Supply of packing materials, sending them to commercial laboratory. Then concrete thermometer, talk of concrete thermometer, we should have. Here's given note, use of 100 mm cube, and cylinder molds are permitted when nominal maximum aggregate size is not greater than 20 mm. Now we reach aggregates. About aggregate, what aggregates? So what we say now? In aggregates, we have same, again in general we have, it is scope, reference, definitions, source approval, sampling, quality and testing, storage at contractor point, fine, 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 sand, so we can say quality and testing, storage contractor point, fine aggregate for concrete and mortar, coarse aggregate for concrete, combined aggregate for concrete, washing and processing, lightweight aggregate, lightweight aggregate sand, coarse sand. Yes, say, okay. So what do you say? Quality and testing. Say, storage at contractor plant, fine aggregate for concrete and mortar, coarse aggregate for concrete, combined aggregate for concrete, washing and processing, lightweight aggregate, coarse recycled aggregate. Now general, it is aggregates. We're talking aggregates and we're talking general. Now this part covers requirements of aggregate. This part covers requirements of aggregates for use in structural concrete. Sections are cementitious materials, water, cementitious materials, water, property requirements, concrete plants, transportation and planning of concrete, hot weather concreting, structural precast concrete, pre-stressed concrete. There are so many codes. I'm leaving them with science. We'll go to contents first. What do we say about definitions? What is about aggregate? If you say define aggregate, you can say aggregate is granular material. I use term this many times. Granular material, it's like grain, you can say. Granular material used in construction and maybe natural, manufactured or recycled. Right? It can be manufactured. It can be manufactured in natural or recycled, whatever it is. Natural aggregate from mineral sources. Natural aggregate is aggregate from mineral sources which has been subject to nothing more than mechanical processing. Aggregate granular material used in construction that may be natural, manufactured or recycled. Recycled natural aggregate from mineral sources which has been subject to nothing more than mechanical process. Now manufactured aggregate. What is that? Aggregate of mineral origin resulting from an industrial process. Aggregate of mineral origin resulting from an industrial process involving thermal or other modifications. Recycled aggregate resulting from processing of inorganic material previously used in construction. So what it says clearly, says manufactured aggregate, you can say manufactured aggregate of mineral origin, that is mineral origin resulting from an industrial process involving thermal or other modifications. Recycled aggregate resulting from processing of inorganic material previously used in construction. So it is recycled. By terminology it is. One is manufactured, one is recycled. What lightweight aggregates of mineral origin having a particle density not exceeding 2 kg per meter cube. It's 2000 kilogram per meter cube, or you can say 2 gram per cc. Lightweight aggregate of mineral origin having a particle density not exceeding 2000 or 2 ton per meter cube, or a loose bulk density not exceeding 1200 kilogram per meter cube. So it's just different than water. You can say water is to 1000 kilogram per meter cube. You know that. What is now source approval? Approval is a point here. We are saying approval. Now because contractor is involved, that's why we are saying contractor. Otherwise, if there is no contractor, then engineer you may say, oh, no problem. Let us use practice, and practice says it is contractor. Contractor use only those imported materials sourced from an accredited quarry that has been credited. Contractor shall use only those imported materials sourced from accredited quarry. Approved, you may say, accredited, approved, same quarry. Producer or accredited supplier which has been approved by standards. Okay, it's Kata, that's okay. This is also accredited aggregate suppliers shall provide source name for every shipment of aggregates delivered to concrete supplier. Source of material supply may be changed by contractor during project currency, provided that replacement materials shall be sourced from an accredited again it says accredited quarry. Producer and replacement materials are not significantly different in terms of physical and chemical properties. Thus ensuring that resultant concrete continues to comply fully with specified requirements. When considering whether an aggregate supplier or aggregate producer are suitable to be accredited, preference shall be given to organizations with a proper quality organization or management system, such as ISO 9001 or another equivalent or another quality management system approved by client or authority. When requested by engineer, aggregate supplier shall provide a geotechnical analysis on rock samples prior to blasting and grinding to ensure proper quality of material. Aggregate suppliers shall provide a geotechnical analytical or analysis on rock samples before conducting blasting and grinding to ensure proper quality of materials. Aggregate shall be properly stocked and labeled without intermingling at any storage area. So when requested by engineer, aggregate supply shall provide data for past 6 months that shows consistency of materials and conformity with specification. Supply shall verify compliance of aggregate per standards, QCS standards approved. Yeah, okay. Then we go to here. Supply shall verify compliance of aggregates per requirement by an independent supply qualified testing laboratory that has gone credits in line to ISO 17025 and approved by standards. Sampling. Contractor shall provide samples of both fine and coarse aggregate to engineer in accordance with requirements of relevant standards for sampling. Sample reducing and testing of testing of aggregates. I again say, contractor shall provide samples of both fine and coarse aggregates to engineer in accordance with requirements of relevant standards in specifications. For sample to be converted, samples shall be taken in accordance with on presence of engineer and approved testing material may be in accordance indicated. Then what we have to say? Samples shall be taken in presence of engineers or approved taking agency. Aggregate samples shall be conducted by qualified staff. Now, quality and testing. Aggregates shall consist of tough, hard, durable, and uncoated particles. So what does it say? It says aggregate shall consist of tough, hard, durable and uncoated particles containing no harmful material in quantities sufficient to adversely affect concrete or reinforcing steel, and shall contain no materials may likely to cause staining or otherwise disfigure concrete surface. Aggregate shall consist of tough, again I say tough, hard, durable and uncoated particles containing no harmful material in quantities sufficient to adversely affect concrete or reinforcing steel and contain no materials likely to cause staining or otherwise disfigure concrete surface. Aggregate shall be obtained from a source approved by engineer. Aggregate shall meet requirements in Table 2.1. Additional tests details and BSEN 1260 with BSPD 6682 and whatever else is there, just to see that. Control shall provide all data. Contractors shall provide all data as specified in specifications. Samples of aggregate shall be carried out in accordance with requirement of BS. All right. Fine aggregate, fine aggregates shall be natural sand. Fine aggregate shall be natural sand or manufactured crushed rock. So what I say? We say sampling of aggregate shall be carried out in accordance with requirements of given codes. Fine aggregate shall be natural sand or manufactured crushed rock sand. So fine aggregate is natural sand or manufactured crushed rock sand. Crushed rock sand shall be produced directly by product of a manufacturing process, and that is crushed rock sand, called crushed rock dust also, not by product of coarse aggregate production. Now, samples to be taken as said, fine aggregate shall be natural sand, beach sand shall not be permitted for use in concrete mixes. Use of clean dune sand, blended with coarse sand. Use of clean dune sand, blended with coarse sand, may be permitted, provided or provided cannot be shown that sand is free from contaminants. We have done beach sand shall not be permitted for use in concrete mixes. Use of clean dune sand blended with coarse aggregate, coarse sand. Maybe coarse sand I can say. Use of clean dune sand blended with coarse sand may be permitted provided it can be shown that sand is free from contaminants. Use of local dune sand shall be pre-approved. Use of local dune sand shall be pre-approved by ministry. Sampling of aggregate shall be taken in accordance, whatever it is. Frequency of routine testing shall meet requirements as listed. Frequency of testing may be increased by engineer request. Frequency of testing may be increased by engineers request. If testing results show inconsistency, and frequency may be reduced if approved by engineers if materials are highly consistent. Mineralogical tests are to be carried out as instructed by an engineer. No aggregate tests. You can say no aggregate deliveries shall be made to site until engineer has right. So we say major tests that we carried out, no aggregates delivery shall be made to site until tests tested or approved by engineer. Engineers approved samples as complying with specifications. Storage at contractor's plant. Storage is very important, It impacts on impurities. If it's not well stored, impacts solar system. Solar energy impacts upon this. Aggregate shall be stored as follows. Aggregate shall be stored as follows. Each nominal size of coarse aggregate. Each nominal size of coarse aggregate shall be kept separated and clearly labeled at all times. Height of stockpiles shall be controlled to prevent harmful segregation and breakage of aggregate. So we can say each nominal size of coarse aggregate and fine aggregate shall be kept separated and clearly labeled all times. Height of stockpile shall be controlled to prevent harmful segregation and breakage of aggregate. Stockpile shall be rest on hard and clean surfaces with not more than 5% slope. Contamination of aggregates by ground or other foreign matter shall be effectively prevented all times. Each heap of aggregate shall be capable of draining freely. Each heap of aggregate shall be capable of draining freely. Stockpiles shall be protected from direct sunlight. Then we can say contamination of aggregate by ground or the foreign matter shall be effectively prevented at all times. Each heap of aggregate shall be capable of draining freely. Stockpile shall be protected from direct sunlight. Unloading of aggregate shall be controlled to prevent harmful segregation and breakage. Contractor shall maintain stockpiles of coarse aggregate in separate grading. At all construction sites, preparation, location, and size of any stock, same experience shall be adopted as by engineer. At construction site, preparation, location, and size of any stockpile will be accepted by engineer. Table 2 says about limits of physical and chemical as well as mechanical properties of aggregate for normal concrete. It is important point is the columns are number, requirement, test methods, and permissible limits. And these are grading the natural material finer than 0.063 mm. And in this case, there are many such many items you can see here. See, there are 16 serial numbers here. If you go one by one, let's say grading. I'm not reading these codes numbers, I'm simply giving you what is this. It is fines, grading is fines, it's a standard, and just standard is a standard, what to say. Grading is standard, fine is standard, and coarse is standard. Natural materials finer than 0.063 mm. Fines 3% and coarse 3% maximum. That's 5%. Now, let's go further. It's that crust rock. In this case, grading is said standard, and natural materials finer than 0.063. We had 3% maximum in fines and 2% maximum in coarse. Crust rock material finer than 0.063. That's crust rock, and finer than 0.063. This is fine aggregate actually. Fines 7% maximum, and this coarse is 2% maximum. That is 0.063, less than that. Finer that is 7% and 3% coarse aggregate, 7% in fine aggregate. We have crust rock. This is now fines quantity, structural concrete, sand equivalent. This is 60% minimum square. we can say 60% minim, that is sand equivalent structural concrete is fine quality. Non, there is structural concrete, and if it is non-structural concrete, methylene blue adsorption value. So in structural concrete, sand equivalent value. So we can say in non-structural concrete, methylene blue adsorption. Methylene blue, that will be little blown up. That is, methylene blue absorption is 1 gram per kilogram, or you can say values, that is 0.2 mm, 1 gram per kilogram. And in that case, structural concrete sand equivalent was measured, and that was 60%. To clay lumps and friable particles, which was C142, 2% maximum, 2% maximum, and 2% maximum in both cases, coarse and fine. And also lightweight pieces, particles, lightweight pieces, 0.5% maximum. Also organic impurities for fine aggregates, amperic impurities, that's 0.5. This color standard, not Then we have another way clay lumps were gone through, which is friable particles, 2%, light type pieces, lightweight pieces, 0.5% maximum, 0.5%. Organic impurities for aggregate, that is this color standards not darker than plate 6. Then we can say organic impurities, that is for aggregate, which is color standard not darker than plate number 3, and we'll see that one later on. And water absorption, saturated surface, dry, that is 2.3% maximum, 2% minimum in fine case. Water absorption and particle density for normal weight. Particle density for normal weight concrete, that is 2 minute. Particle density for normal concrete. Two minimum. Shell content 3% maximum for both. shell content. Flakiness index is 35%. Then we come to, you can say, after this organic impurities, we come to water absorption. That is, 2.3% and 2% maximum, respectively. That is quantitatively variable. So let's go to now shell content, which is 3% maximum. Flakiness index that we have discussed, 35%. Previously it was not that much. In that time I was there, it was just 15%. So 35% is quite okay. This is we have accepted indirectly something. You can say that's not good, but it's acid soluble chlorides, and then we have in this acid soluble chlorides we have reinforced and mass concrete. Acid soluble chlorides, and this is reinforced and mass concrete, that is 0.06% maximum and 0.03% maximum. Then we may say that is reinforced and mass concrete acid solutions 0.06 and 0.03% respectively for coarse and fine aggregate, and pre-stressed concrete and steam cured structural concrete is 0.01% and 0.01%. Acid soluble sulfate, and that is also important here. Acid soluble sulfate, fines 0.4% maximum and coarse 0.3% maximum. Acid soluble sulfates 0.4% maximum, coarse is 0.3% maximum. So what I am saying is, acids soluble sulfates that we are talking about, that is in fines 0.4% maximum, in coarse 0.3% maximum. Soundness by magnesium sulfate 5 cycles is 15% and 15%. Resistance to fragmentation, that's Los Angeles test. For this is resistance to fragmentation Los Angeles test, that is 30% maximum. That is resistance to fragmentation. Drying shrinkage 0.075% maximum. I don't know why decimal is not given here. 75 is given. Potential reactivity here, use of B and EN are relevant GSO standards. If sand equivalent value is less than 60% and greater than or equal to 50%, sand shall be considered non-harmful and is accepted provided methylene blue value is less than or equal to 1 gram per kilogram. Now let's further. If sand equivalent value is less than 60%, greater than or equal to 50%, sand shall be considered non-harmful and accepted provided that methylene blue value is less than or equal to 1 gram per kilogram. Not required when fine content, fine aggregate or in real in all in aggregate is 3%. Not required when fines content in fine aggregate in all in aggregate is 3% or less. Organic impurities, use of fine aggregate failing in test is not prohibited provided that organic impurities, use of fine aggregate failing in test is not prohibited provided that discoloration is due to principally presence of small quantities of coal ignite. This discoloration is due principally to presence of small quantities of coal, lignite or similar discrete particles. When tested for effect of organic impurities or strength of mortar, relative strength at 7 days calculated in accordance with STMD is not less than 95%. So we can say that we understand what we say. This is very important part we are removing in, not required when finds content find aggregate, all in aggregate 3% less. Now this page is 11. Now we go back to quality and aggregate issue and come back onto this because I will discuss about this issue of firing range today. It's an important one. It's very important one, shooting range. We have to discuss this something, and many other projects we have to discuss with. Meanwhile, and I'll do it likewise. You say this, I will tackle. So firing range, shooting range, you might have seen it a lot, and you can see this also here, this sketch, this drawing for this. You can see this drawing. It's really interesting one to see this. You can see that. It's really interesting. So there are, what's this? You can see, I just blow it up further, and you can see, maybe it's not very clear now. You can see this is 330 meters from here to here. This is 330 meters, you can see, from here to here, and this is about. You can see this is how much? I think something is missing. 25 meters is here. You can see this is 25 meters. So this is 25 meters width, and this is main building here. You can see this is main building, and these are all gantries here. Gantries here, and here. Oh, sorry, this pits, not gantries. Gantries are here. This is firing a line point, and this is a target. And this is target bullet trap chamber here. Bullet trap chamber here. This is that. Sorry. This is, you can say from here, you may say that these are pits. You may say these are pits. If you can get enter here, this way. And here is, you may say, if you see it in a way of building, it's baffle wall here. This is section of these. This is, you can say, you just break it up. This is building here. It's building here, and shooting range of that portion. And this is elevation section, blood trap chamber here. This is, main building. Main building is parallel to that one. This is pit 1, pit 2, and this is for gantries. And this is what is this, and blood trap chamber. If you see, it's point here. Here you can see is this chamber. You can see this is here. This is here. Shooting range. This is firing range. And this is building to be used for this purpose. Building is used for, and this is for maybe for other areas outside, for car park, or some is a circulation for cars, for car parking. This may be for similar purpose, or some eatables or something, because people come here and may use this. And this is a side entry, not main entry. You can say here comes people's car park here, use some like that. By further protection here. This is some, we may say, the parking, like some entertainment or whatever it is. This I think at the time this was not here when I was there. So this is firing range. I'm talking off, and it's not ridiculous. It's intelligent work. And let me see what's firing range. If we consider it in a such way, what is firing range? It says firing. Let me see what if it says something like that. Firing range. Firing range, it is Qatar, I can say. Qatar, and best the horse shooting range. There is here with photos. The horse shooting ranges in the Qatar, in Qatar. This is, if I can find something here, Lusail shooting range in Qatar. No, I think this is. That is images of that is better. I think better images. Yes. I'll show you certain images which may be better in understanding. If I find Qatar names and then shooters for Asians and after Qatar shooting like a club. Okay. I just want to show some examples only, not exactly what I have that for reference, and that's more important. Let's start with this. You can see this actually, as I can say. this says photo is coming up, it's coming up, I don't know what. It's not coming up. It's not coming up, so it's not coming up. Leave it then. It's not coming up. Let me see if I can print it. It's not getting anything as such. Open image. Let me see. What's happening is it comes back or no. There's some problem here. I can't open it. Leave it there. It's not opening. What to do? No, it's open here. Yes, it's open. Open. I'll print it out. Save image, copy image. Let us say can be printed or no. Let's find here. So basically, it's going to be printed. I'm not getting any print command here. Open image, save image as, copy image address. If I say save images, then this means I just save images. This will take a lot of time. So it's a good one to see that, but it's not giving any answer. It's not giving any answer. That's the problem is it's not. I can't waste time in this. Okay, let's go back. There's no meaning if you say that. It's not giving support here. Let's see the shooting ranges. How many are these? It says that the shooting range is that nothing is there. Leave it. I'm wasting time for nothing necessarily. I put it off now. Come back to my own work. Alright. Sorry I did not find anything there. So this is that one. Now I'll go back. We'll go back to our talk here. Go back to that talk. It's that we go somewhere here and it was we thought it is good. Concrete. I come back and we have what it says that limits of physical, chemical, mechanical properties of aggregate for normal concrete. Particularly concrete is very important material. You all know well concrete can't move anywhere, any centimeter, any millimeter. Can move construction, the concrete requirement, the concrete understanding. We should also say it's understanding of concrete material in a concrete way. We have to understand concreting elements. In a concrete way, we have to understand that. That's a very important point. So many properties are there. I know we cannot remember everything at the time, but we have to refer to them all the time. It refers, for example, potential activity and drying shrinkage, likewise, are very important one. So what notes say? Use of BS or 11 inches. So standards. We have gone through all this. Use standard equivalent values less than 60%. If standard equivalent values less than 60% greater than equivalent, greater than or equivalent to 50%, sand shall be considered non-harmful and is accepted provided that methylene blue value is less than or equal to 1 gram per kilogram. Methylene blue value, we have to know what is methylene blue value, and it's also important just to be clear about everything. Of course it is test. Methylene blue, what is that? Let's see. It says methylene blue is a prescription medicine. Methylene blue is a prescription medicine used to treat symptoms of acquired methemoglobinemia. Methylene blue may be used along with other medications. Methylene blue belongs to a class of drugs called antidotes. It's not one if methylene blue is safe and effective children. I can say methylene blue, a chloride commonly called methylene blue, is salt. It's a salt used as dye. It's a salt used as dye and as a medication. Methylene blue is a diazine dye. It works by converting ferric iron in hemoglobin to ferrous iron. So medication, its formula is C16H18CIN3S, and its value is very important. Methylene implies in medication. Everybody is saying that. Yeah, we are saying value. So let me put value also on that. Value. And if you say value, then what it says, methylene value for fine aggregate mineral fibers. Methylene blue test has been shown to be an effective indicator of amount of type of clay present. So it says, I'll show you that one. It says research and methylene blue value for fine aggregate and mental profile. Research and field experience has shown that fines free of clay and other harmful materials can be non-detrimental. It says that fines free of clay and other harmful materials can be non-detrimental and even beneficial for concrete properties. A proposed new ASTM international standard be used to distinguish between harmful and non-harmful fines in construction aggregate. WK36804 test methods of rapid determination of methylene below. Wait a minute, let me show it to you also. It's better because it can be printed. I'm giving is it can be printed and can be shown to you. It's not necessary. Yes, it's coming to you now. Wait a minute. So it has come to you in full page. This is standardized ASTM International helping the world, and it is methylene blue value for fine aggregate and mineral filler. As a research and field experience shown that fines free of clay and other harmful materials can be non-detrimental and even beneficial for concrete properties. A proposed new ASTM international standard shall be used to distinguish between harmful and non-harmful fines in construction aggregates. It says WK36804. It says that WK36804 test methods for rapid determination of methylene blue value for fine aggregate. WK36804 test method for rapid development of methyl blue values for fine aggregate and mineral filler is being developed by subcommittee normally aggregate parties to an international committee on it, according to Eric Kohler. According to Eric Kohler, Research and Development Director W.R. Greco and Company, who once approved WK36804 shall be used to qualify new material sources and for production quality control by personnel at aggregate producers, ready mix concrete producers and asphalt concrete producers. According to this, methylene blue test has been shown to be an effective indicator of amount and type of clay present in aggregate and can therefore help distinguish between harmful and beneficial fines. This methylene blue test has been shown to be an effective indicator of a mountain type of clay present in aggregate and can therefore help to distinguish between harmful and beneficial fines. He says that the methylene blue test method contained doesn't involve titration and visual assessments. Says that methylene blue test method contained in this Video-1306-12.03.2022-PostedOnYT does not involve titration and visual assessments typically associated with such testing and can be performed in field in about 10 minutes. Once it has been approved, proposed standard will be enable use of wider range. But this was in year 12, so it's not the matter is approved probably. Once it has been approved, proposed standard enable use of wider range of stands and limestones, fillers and concrete, whilst also ensuring that these aggregates are of high quality, says Coyle. This will prevent waste of non-detrimental fines, which must currently be washed out of sand indiscriminately. This will result in more sustainable use of limited aggregate resources. So that's what it says. I think you understand this. It was a note in 2012. So if you wish, you can save it, doesn't matter. It can be saved in issue, I think. It can be saved in, and that is concrete. I can write here. So we can close this page for time being, and we can see another one if we have some more information on this. This stand equivalent to methylene value of aggregate, lesson June 17. I think it's more better. We read that. Let's see what is this. Abstract, read that. Abstract only, not full. Suitability. Just reading abstract. Suitability of aggregates for construction of base course. Suitability of aggregate for construction of base course and asphalt layer of pavement is determined by various parameters, properties. One of these properties is aggregate cleanliness. Two basic tests that determine the cleanliness of aggregate are sand equivalent test and methylene blue test. In present paper, first reference is being made to two tests and limits used by international standards. Secondly, relevant results are presented from a significant number of limestone and non-limestone aggregates. From results obtained, it is concluded that some aggregates with the acceptable sand equivalent value do not satisfy methylene blue requirement. Similarly, aggregates that do not satisfy sand equivalent requirement are suitable to be used in highway engineering. If you just download this, will ask for joining, and that I'm not going to do. Can we read full text? That's important here. It's very, it's not readable. In fact, it's not readable, so it's difficult to read this. That's a problem. Full text joining will ask for. I'll leave it. So we continue our talk without that. No problem. Everything cannot be joined, it's not possible. So I am here on this page, and that is, I was somewhere in this test that was, is considered sand equivalent values less, and this was considered methylene blue values less than or equivalent to 1 gram per kilogram. It's now not required when fines contain fine aggregate. It's not required when fines content in fine aggregate or in all in aggregate is 3% or less. This test is not required. When I can say not required is What's not required is that methylene blue value is less than or equal to 1 gram per kilogram, but it's not required when fines content in fine aggregate is all in aggregate is less is 3% or less. Use of fine aggregate while filling in test is not prohibited. Use of fine aggregate filling in test is not prohibited, provided that discoloration is due principally to presence of small quantities of coal, lignite, or similar discrete particles. When tested for effect of organic impurities on strength of mortar, relative strength at 7 days calculated in accordance with STM C87 is not less than 90%, 95%. Organic impurities on strength when tested for effect of organic impurities of strength of mortar, relative strength at 7 days calculated in accordance with STM C87 is not less than 95%. If chloride content is higher than 0.01%, following steps may be taken. Aggregate may be washed. Aggregate may be washed by suitable water before mixing to lower chloride content of specified value 0.01%. Aggregate may be washed by suitable water before mixing to lower chloride well content to specified value 0.01%. If washing process does not reduce chloride content to required value, acid soluble chloride content in concrete ingredients, sum of contributions from constituent materials shall be tested as mentioned in BS 85002. Allowable acid soluble chloride content limit shall not exceed value given in section 5 part 6653. Alkali aggregate activity shall be assessed. Alkali aggregate activity shall be assessed at source in accordance. Certification shall be obtained from aggregate source indicating absence of deleterious expansion of concrete due to alkali aggregate reactivity. Then you come to fine aggregate for concrete and mortar. That's what we have to reach with. So we have here ourselves, we have gone through this, and we can see fine aggregate. It's also a very important point. Fine aggregate consists of natural clean sand. Fine aggregate consists of natural clean sand. Natural, it's not manufactured. Fine aggregate consists of natural clean sand. Stone screenings, of course. Stone screenings are a combination and can be produced from natural disintegration of rock or gravel, and or by crushing of rock or gravel, or processing of manufactured aggregate, or artificial, conforming to requirements of physical and chemical properties, complying with table 2 as said, and subject to engineer's acceptance. Crushed fine aggregates may be blended with local washed sand. Crushed fine aggregate may be blended with local washed sand provided that final aggregate complies with requirements table 2.1. Gradation of fine aggregate for concrete and mortar shall be in accordance with gradation designations BSN 12620 with BS all this given, and course of practice and subject to engineer's acceptance. Each batch of aggregate delivered to site shall be kept separate from previous batches and be stored to allow for inspection and tests to be carried out. Local natural sand shall be mechanically washed to remove salts and other impurities in order to meet specified requirements. Storage area for clean washed sand shall be shaded from direct rays of sun and screened for protection from dust. Area in neighborhood of stockpile mixing plant shall be watered as necessary to reduce rising of dust. Uses of dune sand shall be accepted as governed by regulations of Qatar Ministry of Environment. Not used for any reinforced concrete, used only for blocks, block mortar, plasters, soil cement, shotcrete and insulation concrete, not for reinforced concrete. First says use of dune sand shall be accepted as governed by regulations of Qatar Ministry of Environment and shall be not used for any reinforced concrete, used only for blocks, block mortar, plasters, soil cement, shotcrete and insulation concrete. You can read this meanwhile, it's no issue. It's a question of 2 or 3 minutes. You can read this, I'll be back. I think it's over now. You must have gone through this. It's an important. I will start later on because it's already 3 hours and it's working day. I had intention. I had intention to. What was that? Actually, it was sand equivalent method. I was talking about that also. Okay, I'll close this also. Now my point of view is different here. We try to show you something every day, and this is certification as well. This file quality and coordination, I just try to explain again and again what we speak, and also this coordination file which is under development, under construction, and I don't know how shall it take its shape, because I try to explain coordination, which I have the website. I'm really upset of not finding much information on web. What's coordination? How can we explain to engineers? We can explain only by our experience using our experience on such videos, whatever experience we have, what problems we face, how we worked out. And everybody has done it in field, and particularly in field, in construction, it means something, because there we can say that coordination is done practically. Maybe it's not done that much in designs. That's also cannot change functioning of site. It doesn't impact on works because it's done in office only. But real coordination affects progress of work and quality of work if information is not available. And that point we have to understand to tell people clearly what coordination related to quality, how coordination is related to production or quantity, how it relates to design errors, how it relates to overall efficiency, overall performance of work. Those points we should know and explain for further improvement. It's not engineering is different now. It contains all disciplines within some part of disciplines, or you may call overlaps. It's not encroachment but requirement. Since services are increasing every day, services in buildings or in structures, and different inputs are coming in. Therefore, we have to be very clear about that issue, and we have to understand that. And I think it's time I close it. We think we have done good, of course, with slow speed today. And I against that, it's better to do something than do nothing. And this is what again I am saying. I am very serious about coordination, engineering, and projects, and others should also be in interest of this. Uh, Nothing is too late, and engineering in itself is name of continuous development, and without continuous development we cannot develop anything. This title I think is quite justified. As I said, quality, coordination, engineering projects, reliable engineers, communication, concrete. We took good part of concrete in civil engineering today, and will jump into works contracts and designs, construction methods, claims, organizations, etc. And with that I close it today. Thank you very much. Hope you find you will look into this and suggest if something can be suggested. Okay.